Okay, you can see some semblance of order behind me. Yeah, this you might have seen this in one of the vlogs I did a while ago. This is one of my little thrift store finds, this shelf system, and I did actually want Lawrence to hang it on the wall there to put all my little bits of haberdashery in it, but it's not happened yet, and I just got sick of banging my ankles on it under the sewing table, so I've put it there for now, and just to give myself some space, because this side of the table was just full. Like it's just mentally been driving me mad. But anyway, today William was just still cough 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 cough. Josh was still coughing. I have still got this like really horrible headache and the sore throat. The only thing that's helping me at the moment is Nurofen migraine tablets. So I'm just popping them, and it sort of takes the edge off it. It doesn't clear up completely. Like I've still got this really like heavy head, but we're not. I haven't got a high temperature. Sorry, fiddling. I took my temperature this morning. I think it was 36 point something, so perfectly fine. What I have noticed is I get like hot cold, like feverish. So I think it's just one of those flu viruses that are going around. A couple of weeks ago there was a respiratory virus, there was a cold, and there was flu going around. So I think between the three of us we've picked something up. Maybe we've got separate things. I don't know. But anyway, this morning I've just sat on the sofa, had a bit of a lie in, discovered that between 8 and 10 we could go to William's school to pick up school books for him, which I read at 10:30. So luckily there's another collection tomorrow. But the problem is William, Josh and I are coughing, and I don't want Lawrence out because he's the one with a lung condition. So I don't know, I'll have to think about that. Maybe I could go out and just wear like a scarf or something. They said that they'll keep it like minimum contact with people, so I'm more worried about people catching my flu thing than anything, than the coronavirus. So yeah, anyway, as you can see, I haven't put my face on. I have showered. So the reason I came up to the craft room was I just got so sick of sitting on the sofa, and I thought I can just see me doing this every day, and I don't feel well enough to go out and do anything. I don't. The thought of just going out walking at the moment, just no. And I don't want to lie in bed all day because I'll just get a bad back, and it's not helping the headache. So I thought, okay, I have showered, so I'm all clean. Just couldn't be bothered messing around with makeup. Why should I? I'm not going anywhere, and you guys have seen me in some pretty dreadful states. So I figured, well, I'll just come in here to do some ironing. I've got 4 things to iron. I thought that's good, stand up a bit, move. And then this was just irritating me, so that's what I started doing. But anyway, I'm not going to film for the rest of the day because I've not got anything planned. I'm just going to be really, really boring and just relax. But I thought I could share a story time with you, which hopefully it doesn't make you sad or angry or but if you saw in February for Valentine, Lawrence bought me some charms. I'm actually wearing them for my Pandora bracelet, and there was a little bus with the Union Jack on it. And some people might think, well, 3 beads in one go, that seems quite a lot, because normally you take a long time to fill your bracelets up. I have 3 Pandoras. I have this bangle, and I have 2 of the loose one. One of them's got the rose gold bead on it. Hold on. William's having a coughing fit in the hallway of all places. He's fine. Yeah, so yeah, I have the one with the rose gold Pandora effect, just a plain silver one with a crystal clasp, and then Lawrence got me this in Hong Kong a couple of years ago. And 3 Pandoras might seem quite extravagant, but in actual fact, I have actually owned 5. So here is the story time. So so the job that brought me to Holland, they relocated the marketing department, which is where I worked, to Barcelona, and they offered to relocate me because they'd already relocated me from the UK to here. And at that point, I had 2 kids and a mortgage, and Lawrence and I were very happy here. So I declined the offer. I finished on very good terms with them. They were an amazing bunch of people. I still miss them all to this day. I even helped interview my replacement and hired the person and trained her. So it went very, very well. And I'd worked for them for quite a long time. So I got a very nice redundancy package to the point where I said to Lawrence, okay, I'm having a year off. You know, I've literally moved here, had kids, I've not had a chance to sort of take a breather. So I'm having a year off, I'm going to join the gym. And so that year stretched into 2 years. And then I was busy setting up my own company, doing like consultancy. And then in the 3rd year, I had a call from an agency with a job offer. So I went on for the interview. I know, needless to say, I got the job. So I gave the kids the option of going to the after school club, which they used to do before. Obviously, when I was at home for 3 years, I took them out, wasn't paying for that. Or, which is very, very common in Holland, hire like a childminder. They're called oppas here. And usually it's a local mummy, usually kids are at the school, and you'll know them via. So that's what both the kids said they wanted to do. And we were looking for somebody who would either be happy to get them from school, bring them here, or deliver them to go to a play date at another friend, or even take them to her house. I wanted like flexibility with them. So okay, and the other point to the story is Lawrence had also been contacted from an agent, a headhunter, and they'd offered him this amazing job. I mean, they were throwing like ridiculous promises and offers to him, and you know, at the time it all seemed a bit too good to be true. And Lawrence even didn't want to leave his old job. He actually really liked it, but you know, it's like that old saying, all that glistens isn't gold. Anyway, we'll get to that part of the story in a while. So I put the feelers out amongst my friends in the community, and one of my friends said, I know somebody, a local mummy. She's struggling a bit. She does like a bit of cleaning and you know, helping out people, and she's a single mum with 4 kids, and she lived I don't know, like a 10-minute walk from the back of the house here. And I thought that sounds ideal. So I got hold of the lady and spoke to her on the phone, and then she came to the house, and then we went to her house. So we did a whole sort of, you know, meeting her kids. She met the boys, and everybody, you know, we all seemed quite happy with her. And you know, she had a really, really hard time of it. Her husband used to beat her up, and the police had actually had to remove them from the house, and he was under a restraining order. And you know, she was just like on very, very hard times. So having her work for me, I think it was 3 days a week, was like a lifeline to her. And I promised that I'd also recommend it to different friends, you know, if they wanted like child minding on the days that I didn't need her, or cleaning. Okay, so hide the lady, everything's happy. Lawrence starts his new job. I go off and start my new job. And you know, she was very friendly, very helpful. Couldn't do enough for us, and I helped her out. We had during the time she worked for me, the kids had a school holiday, and I even you know, I took a massive bag of like sweets and chips and cookies and drinks for her kids as well, so they'd have like nice snacky things during the holiday. And you know, I gave her like clothes from the kids for friends of hers, and for Josh was a bit older, so you know, it was just trying to sort of help the girl out, you know, as you do. So anyway, she so at this point she's working for me 6 weeks. Yeah, I've been in my job 6 weeks, and Lawrence had been in his job just short of 4 weeks. And it was I never forget, it was a Wednesday, and at that point I didn't work on Wednesdays, and both the kids, their schools, they only went to school half a day. So it was just before lunchtime, and I took a walk to the school to pick up the boys, and I met two friends of mine, and one of them asked me about how is it going with your lady, because I'm looking for a cleaner. And this was like a really snatched conversation in front of the school. So I told them about this lady, and then one of my friends said, oh no, her name's not such a buddy. So I said, yeah. And she said, oh no, you have to stop with her. She's really she's been involved in petty crimes. She's been accused of thieving. Um, you have to stop with her. She's not a good person. I'm like, well, she's been great with me, and I judge people as I find, and maybe people are just a bit mean because she's on her own with 4 kids, and maybe people are just being a bit sort of snobby and looking down the nose at her. And I take everybody as I find them. If you treat me nice, I'm going to treat you nice back. That's very, very simple. And and I'm fair. And so anyway, it was playing on my mind this. So I got into the school, got the boys, and then I saw my friends again. And then we arranged that they were going to come back to me and have coffee. And anyway, as I'm walking back from school, no, skipped a bit. Then I bumped into another neighbour who asked me about the cleaning lady the week before, the childminder, and I'd said, "Oh, did you hire her?" She said, "No, I didn't. I've had a few people give me feedback on her, and she was really pushing me, a bit aggressive, like she wanted the job. It's like to clean, and she was very sort of overbearing." So I had this from the two other friends, and then this other friend, and then I was like, okay, this is really weird. Okay, don't overthink things. So I got the kids walking back from the school. Lawrence phoned me. I'm on the way home. So I said, what's happened? He said, yeah, I can't work for this company or another company. I can't work for this guy. So basically, the guy who'd offered him these ridiculous offers. I mean, he offered him like a 6-figure bonus after X amount of time, because Lawrence had shares in this other company. And and everybody, all our friends were like, oh my God, that's so weird. It was like great. And then it turned out he was literally, I think looking back, I think he'd sort of overpromised and over offered him stuff, and he got into trouble. So he was literally sat on Lawrence's shoulder like for every hour since he walked in the door to the end of the day. And he said, I can't work like that. So I'm still on the probation period. We've agreed to disagree. He won't change his management style. I've told him I can't work in that kind of environment. So we've just parted ways. And I wasn't worried because at that point the IT industry was like booming. So I said, okay, come home. This really strange stories happened. So anyway, my friends come round and we had a whole discussion, and then there was a lot of things falling into place. And anyway, they went home, and I sort of put it to one side. Lawrence came home from work and he said, well, listen, if you're unsure, I'm now going to be at home. I'm looking for a new job. We can just cancel her. She knows the risk that, when you work for yourself, people can just cancel you. And let's just sort of take a step back. I'm going to be taking care of the kids anyway. And so I thought, that's what I'll do. There was too many sort of signals going off and I was very confused. Anyway, go to her house. I phoned her up and said, I'm coming over to see it. Went to her house, and she seemed really jumpy and edgy, but I just thought she was upset. So I said, listen, Lawrence has literally just lost his job, and I can't afford to pay you anymore. And plus, Lawrence is going to do the childminding for the kids, so I'm going to have to let you go. And she was so nice. She wasn't upset. She was like so nice, and she was hugging me and saying, I can still help you if you want. If you need anything, just let me know. And I said, well, that's really nice of you. That's kind. But best give me the key back now. And we did that. Anyway, go home. I thought, okay. The next morning, so it's a Thursday, I'm going to work. And I'm looking for one of my Pandora bracelets, and I knew the two of them had been sat stupidly on one of the kitchen counters for a couple of weeks. I hadn't worn them, and for that reason, for unknown reason, I just decided that day I wanted to wear them. So I'm looking, I can't find them. And when you get like this sort of rising, like, oh no. And I thought, no, you're just panicking. You've got all this stuff going in your head about the lady cleaned for you, childminding for you. And it was getting late, so I went to work. Anyway, got in, met one of my colleagues, and I told them. And he said, like, trust your instinct. So the whole day I was like replaying things, and I'm like, where could they be? Where could those bracelets be? And not only were they valuable because they had like gold beads on them as well. I think we did a tally later, and they were like, to replace it was like €1,000 each. But it was all sentimental stuff. You know, everybody bought me beads when I was pregnant with William, and just, you know, different memories when I got engaged, and, you know, and I knew that they were there. Anyway, I got home from work, couldn't find them, went straight upstairs to check on where some of my jewellery was gone. Went to different places around the house where I also had jewellery stored, gone. Every piece of valuable jewellery I had in the house had gone. And you know when your head just starts spinning, and the only thing was in a jewellery box that I had, it's one of these lift top ones. When I opened it, there was a pair of gold earrings, quite expensive ones, and they were sort of lying like overlapped on each other on the very top. So on first, when you lift it up, it looked normal, there's gold jewellery there, but it was like there's a tray and then drawers and boxes, and everything had gone. And you can imagine my head just went, you know, your head just does like this 360. And I was like, oh my God, Lawrence, what do I do? What do I do? And then there was other things like a digital camera I'd had lying on the side, that had gone. There was like, I just couldn't think. So anyway, I said to Lawrence, at this moment, I'm still in shock. And I know that very, very quickly, I'm going to get like super angry. Like I can feel it. You know, I was shaking, I was crying, I was really like, my head was just in a complete mess. And I said, let me just go to the police right now before I do something really stupid, like go and confront this woman. Because, you know, if I'd have lost it, I don't know, I would not have been responsible for my actions. And she had children in the house. So I went straight to the police station, walked in the door, told the police lady what had happened. And she said, is this lady called blah, blah, blah? And I just stood there looking at her and said, yes. And she said, I'm so sorry. She said, we're building a case against her. She said, you're one in a line of people that this has happened to. And how I didn't pass out, you know, I've never been a fainter. In fact, I don't even think I've ever fainted in my life. That's the closest I ever came. I felt like my legs had just gone from underneath me. You know, it was like, you know, you see these thrillers when they do like the camera thing where it sort of zooms in and out, and they're like this. It was like one of those weird surreal moments. So anyway, she took me into a back room, and you know, then everything, I was just shaking. And we went through everything, and then she said, you need to go and gather photos. You're not to confront her, because how it worked in Holland is because they were building a case, any new case that came in, they were linking to it. So she said, you don't tell anyone, because we're gathering evidence, and we were almost ready to go to the courts with it. So the fact that I'd come along meant that the process had lengthened. Anyway, what I agreed with the policeman was that anything that I remembered to go in and do a new report. I don't even know how many times I went in and out that police station. The amount of things that I discovered over the course of a few weeks, when I was like, where's that? Oh, that's gone. Where's that? Even at the time, one of my sort of hobbies I'd been doing while I was not working was I was doing nails. I had a training to do fake nails, and I was doing like a gel nails and toes, and this stuff you need like a UV light to set them. She'd even stolen some of the nail polish, and one of them, this is how sick she is, one of them, she had her nails painted, and I was round there one day picking the kids up, and I said, because it was an interest of mine, I said, oh, your nails are nice. I said, oh, I have a colour really similar to that in a gel. And she said, oh, it's just normal nail polish. I said, oh, it's really, really nice. And then I actually remember coming away thinking, oh, I should find out when her birthday is, and as a treat, I'll do her nails for her. Anyway, you know, over the course of the next few days, spoke to friends, spoke to neighbours. One of my neighbours said she assumed that she was also cleaning for me because she came many times during the day when we was all at work, and she left with a bag, and so I just felt sick. You know, I mean, the stuff that she'd stolen, she had to have gone through all our personal private stuff with a fine tooth comb, because I had things, you know, like stashed all over. Anyway, I didn't have a lot of things photographed. Stupid me. I photograph everything now. Luckily, I had some photos, as friends sent me photos of me wearing things. And anyway, this went on and on and on for months. And then I sort of made contact with other families. And then we had the community police come round. And then I think it was like a year before we went to court. And Lawrence and I went with another couple and a lady. And the judicial system here in Holland's completely opposite to the UK. They don't have like it's like a closed room with just the judge and the prosecutor and some court officials, and they don't have like a jury or anything like that. It's just very, I don't know, it's very strange to me. So anyway, we go, and her lawyer straight away asks that the judge not count into her other offences from years before. So we all gasped and looked at each other. And then they started reading all the cases. 7 cases against her. And I think I was number 5 in the list, and that's why it had taken another year to get to court, because when I came along with my case, there was 2 more after me. And oh, it was just dreadful. She'd cleared out this old lady. She'd been cleaning another house and stole like cash, thousands, jewelry. One family, they'd gone on vacation, come home, and their house was emptied. So they thought that was like gang related. Oh, and in between the case coming, she'd left the area at this point, and her house was like a rental, and then the police had done like a raid on it, and they'd found like a weed farm growing in the house. One of her daughters had been rushed in with a drug overdose. Her kids, the little ones, were handling stolen phones. You know, it was like she'd sort of, the whole family was involved, and possibly because of the drugs, it was like also gang related. So anyway, oh, just before the trial, the police lady had sent me a photo of 2 Pandora bracelets. She'd just photographed like a little portion of them, and she said, do you recognise these? I said, they're mine. And I told her exactly what were on the rest of the beads that were missing from the photo, and that's how they'd got her on mine. She'd gone to the town hall has got like a credit union thing, and you can like pawn things. So she'd taken my jewellery, just the Pandoras, and used her own ID. And I think she'd got like €300. She'd borrowed €300 against them. And but they'd already been reported stolen. And I said to the police, why is the town hall accepting stolen goods? He said, yeah, there's a whole fight between the 2 different systems, and who's got liability for this. And anyway, that's how they managed to pin her down. And then the argument she gave was that I had sold them to her. Now, if you know anything about Pandora bracelets, you can get different lengths of bracelet. So like 16, 17, 21 centimetres. And I've got really thick wrists. And this woman was skinny, like skinny. So the first question was, why are you buying 2 bracelets that are like 4 times too big for you? And secondly, you're working and doing cleaning jobs. How can you afford to buy 2 bracelets that you don't even need for cash from your employer, who clearly can afford to pay you, so she's not going to ask you to buy jewellery from her. And then thirdly, they were full of beads that have no sentimental value to you at all. And Anyway, the arguments were just ridiculous. So anyway, it took, I want to say, 5 years for the case to be closed, because then it went to, so this was like in the local sort of, let's say, county court, and then we went to like the provincial court, let's say. And then, because she kept appealing, every time she kept appealing, because her kids needed her and her husband wasn't there, and there was always a sob story, even though her kids, through no fault of their own, but now they are old enough to know better, you know, they're also little thieves, and got the worst reputations. And I think at the end it ended up at like the Crown Court kind of thing, which is like the highest court in the land. And then clearly she was found guilty on all counts. I don't think she ever was imprisoned. I think she might have been given like suspended sentences. She knows how to play the system. I valued my jewellery at, I think it was like €10,000. So they didn't grant me that, and they paid me back in instalments. So this is 7 years, and that they've only just finished paying me back for what I claimed. Didn't claim on the insurance, because I just figured, well, ultimately my premiums are going to go up, so I'm going to end up paying for them in the first place. And we knew at that point it was really sort of, you know, a big thing to sell old gold in Holland. And the police said, listen, anything gold has gone to one of these smelt sites, and nobody's smelting silver, which is why the Pandoras, she had no other way of getting rid of them, and nobody would have bought a second-hand Pandora. And the gold beads were actually a combination of gold and silver, or, you know, so she couldn't have even got them smelted. People just wouldn't have separated them. So anyway, getting back to the beginning of the story, that's why Valentine's, Lawrence bought me 3 Pandora beads, because over the years, you know, we gradually sort of, he's been buying me bits and pieces to build my jewellery collection up again. And anyway, as I said, she left the area. I do know where she's living, and I know people who actually live in that area, funnily enough, even though it's like a 40-minute drive away from here, which in Holland is quite a way. They're aware, and they've sort of spread the word of who she is, and they've seen photos of her. And yeah, I don't know what she's doing now. For me, I'm just happy that it's closed. The feeling's never gone away. If any of you've ever been a victim of a crime, it's just horrible. And even now to this day, when I lose things, I think my first reaction is it something she took? You know, it's always like that doubt. And sometimes I come in the house and I have a feeling somebody's been in there, and it's just horrible. You know, I mean, we changed all the locks. I got the key off her, but we changed all the locks. I mean, security went off, lockdown. And my neighbours all know. As I said, I do have a lady who cleans for me. They know exactly when she's supposed to come, when she's supposed to leave, and what day she comes. And if they see her come, she doesn't have a key. I trust her, she's lovely. But the police said, please don't give keys to anybody. So there's only one person, aside from the people who live here, who has a key, and that's my neighbour across the road, who we've known for, I don't know, 17 years, 18 years. And we have their key. And the police said, don't give keys out to anybody. So, because then it sort of complicates cases kind of thing. Anyway, that's my story time. So, I don't know. What do you think about that one? That was quite a horrible moment for all of us. Kids were quite affected, bad dreams and stuff for a long, long time. And yeah, the fact that she moved out the area so quickly was like a godsend. You know, it was like the best thing she could have done, because I don't know how I would have coped having her in the area around me. One of the mums who was involved, get this is so mental. She was also instructed by the police, just don't keep away from her. And at that point, the thieves, kids were still at the local school. They'd left by the time my kids were being looked after by her. And she even was in the school playground one day picking her kids up, and the woman was stood there wearing a pair of like limited edition boots that belonged to that friend of mine. And She knew they were hers because A, there's no way this woman could have afforded them. B, they were like so unusual, like they were really like limited edition boots. I don't know. I don't know if she'd even got them like overseas, and they were one of the things that had been stolen from her house. And you know, she told me this had happened, and this girl had to see a psychologist over the whole thing. It was just dreadful. And I said, when she told me, I said, "What did you do?" She just froze. She just froze, and then she went home, and you know, it was like wham. You know, the shock of it all again just hit her. And she's a strong woman, this girl. You know, she's no pushover. And so I said, well, I'm just glad that didn't happen to me, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if I could have kept my hands off her. I'm really going to be honest with you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this sort of sad story time. Incredible, hey? But I'm going to wrap it up here. Throat's really getting sore now, so I'm going to go and have a hot drink, and it's lunchtime here. And then tomorrow we need to figure out who's going to go to the school to pick up the books for William. He's also got some online studying he can do, but for now I'm just leaving him. He's not sleeping well because of this whole coughing thing, so you know, and obviously all our sleep's getting disturbed because of it, so we're all just really tired. So I'm still not working. I'm gonna just see how that one goes. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up the vlog. Thanks again for joining, guys, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Stay safe. Bye.